The air in the oak-paneled study was thick with smug certainty. My uncle, Roland Tate, leaned forward, his voice sharp. "We've settled the estate, Elise. You weren't invited for a purpose." The lawyer, Miss Clara Wren, paused, adjusting her pen. "Her name," she said, voice like steel, "is the only one in the will." Silence hit like a hammer. My cousins, aunts, and uncles, faces smug with stolen wealth, froze. Their house of deceit collapsed 3 years after they'd banished me. Thanks for joining Elise's fight. If betrayals ever cut you, hit subscribe. It's free and fuels stories like this. Let's ignite the truth. 3 years ago, my grandfather, Henry, passed. His family branded me the outsider, the one who left Seattle for college, who didn't care enough to stay. They treated Henry like a figurehead, me his shadow. At his memorial, they offered thin smiles, vowing to manage his estate. Grief dulled my edge. I signed their forms, believing loss forged honesty. I was naive. Henry's estate was his legacy. A craftsman home on Pine Street, his rare book collection, land from his mother. They claimed it was swamped in debts, leaving me nothing. I bought it until, 7 months later, I found a letter in his old library. Tucked in a leather-bound journal under faded maps, an envelope bore my name in Henry's steady hand. Inside, his notarized will named me sole heir. The words sparked resolve. They hadn't just stolen assets, they'd silenced his final wish. Unforgivable. Grief had silenced me, betrayal honed me. I didn't lash out. Rage demands precision. I spent months tracing their trail. Forged deeds, redirected accounts, funds blooming post-death. I found their old lawyer, Mr. Ferris Cole, retired in Olympia, living off their payoff. Over tea, I played clueless, letting him boast. By the end, I had his confession, recorded covertly, plus falsified papers and dates. Vengeance thrives on timing. I hired Ms. Tara Quinn, a lawyer sharp as a blade, to refile Henry's
name.
Each handshake burned like ice. When the court greenlit the estate's reopening, I let summons hit like lightning. Their calls came fast, 53 missed by dusk. I ignored them all. At the family meeting with my lawyer, I wore Henry's signet ring and a calm resolve. The study smelled of wax and denial. Roland sat nearest Ms. Wren, his gold watch glinting like his lies. "We've settled everything," he declared. "You weren't invited for a purpose." Ms. Wren cleared her throat. "Her name is the only one in the will."
Roland's jaw tightened.
My cousin's eyes widened, confusion spreading like wildfire. Ms. Wren slid the will across the table, authenticated, sealed. "Mr. Tate," she said, "you'll need to account for the assets you've moved. Estate fraud is a felony." No one stirred. Roland's hands shook. "This is an error," he stammered. I leaned in, voice steady.
"No.
It's justice, 3 years delayed but right on time." The weeks that followed were chaos. They tried threats, pleas, tearful apologies. But courts don't bend for forged signatures. They lost it all. Homes, accounts, reputations. I didn't gloat. Their unraveling was enough. I restored Henry's house, kept his books where he'd shelved them, and let silence settle. One night, by his old desk, I whispered, "They thought I'd stay gone, but you knew I'd return." The air felt lighter, shadows softer. My brother, Leo, visited the restored home. Over coffee, he grinned. "You built truth from ashes." A client, a survivor of betrayal, met me there inspired. "Keep building true," Leo said, clapping my shoulder. Roland appeared at a diner later, haggard, in a worn coat. "You won," he muttered. I nodded. Truth burns brighter. My office sign at Ember Solutions, my new firm, reads,